Tyler, just talk about your preparation in your second full off season, and how has that changed any from a rookie going into year two?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that I figured out a lot about, what I need to do to take care of my body to be able to play at a high level. And, also just following, the guys that have came before me, understanding that their routine is very important. I feel like I learned a lot.
What early impressions, or what are you already taking away from a guy like Connor Riley as he comes in as offensive line coach?
He's a very detailed coach, and he has great connections with the players. We laugh and joke a lot, and he actually has a real bond with us, so I think that makes us work harder for him.
What's the biggest thing you learned from last season?
Taking care of your body is important.
What about there was a lot of issues with the penalties and just the whole learning the NFL. How did you think you dealt with that?
Of course, there's going to be ebbs and flows, but I understand that, it already happened and it's in the past, and I'm going to move forward from it and learn from my mistakes.
Why did you feel like it was important for you to be, first day they opened this building, you need to be?
I had a lot to prove. I had a lot to work on. I didn't do too good last season. I want to do better. I want to be the guy that can be depended on.
How much of that was you were a college right tackle and you played left tackle, switched sides of the line? How much did that kind of impact your season, and how much more comfort do you have at that spot now?
I'm not going to make any excuses. I just didn't play as good as I needed to last year. I'm coming with a different attitude this year to become a better player.
Has the left tackle flow kind of become second nature for you at this point where you are in the offseason?
There's always going to be learning, but I feel like I'm getting way more comfortable, with it now than I was at first.
What does it mean to have your coach unprompted call out how impressed he's been with you really through this offseason and specifically the start of the season?
It's a blessing to be spoke of highly, but that's what I expect from myself.
Is part of the reason why you were here, he said from day one of the season ends and you're the first guy here, is that the drive that you want to show, like last year wasn't good enough?
I guess so, yeah. But I just feel like I had a lot to prove and I needed to work on things, and getting in here earlier was the way I was going to do it.
Who's helped you the most?
My Lord and Savior, honestly.
How much of your diet did you change with
I changed my diet completely around. Fast foods are out. Fried foods are out. I just try to stick to a strict regimen of vegetables and salmon, throughout the week of prep. So it's definitely changed a lot, actually. It's a good question.
Is that easy or hard to do?
Yeah, it was easy. I feel better. It's easy when you feel better. I feel like my body's more pure right now, and I can move more freely. My joints feel better, so it's a great transition.
Did you add more protein intake here as well when you do that?
Yeah, more protein. A lot of steaks. Anything that'll make me better and put good things in my body, I'm eating it.
What inspired the change, and where did you kind of design your new diet from?
I'm just asking questions to our nutritionists. Watching videos, learning on my own.
What was the toughest thing to get by?
Nothing was really too tough, honestly. I didn't eat too bad at first, but I just kind of made it more strict. So I didn't really give nothing too crazy up, so it wasn't very hard.
No particular restaurant that you would go to?
No, sir.
Okay.
Maybe Cane's. Oh, man. I'm going with the Caniac, bro. Yeah.
So your current frame, is this your ideal frame, ideal weight, or are you looking to do a little bit more tweaking before training camp gets started?
I want to get bigger. I want to get stronger. I want to get more flexible. I want to always upgrade my body in any way that I can. This isn't the finished product. It's just where I'm at right now.
You entered the offensive line room where Zach Martin was kind of the top dog there. Just how different has it been without him, and how have you seen Tyler Booker integrate into the unit?
Zach left a legacy here, so all the things that he brought to this team, we uphold those standards and keep them in our room. So, things are flowing the exact same, and Tyler Booker is falling right into place.
How critical has Tyler Smith been in the absence of Zach Martin with retirement? How critical has Tyler Smith just been this offseason?
He's extremely important. He's the leader of our room. So, we follow after him. We work as hard as he does, and he's a hard-working mofo,
What's the biggest piece of advice, or how are you trying to help Tyler Booker given, the challenges you faced just last year?
Just take it one day at a time. We're different players. We have different strengths and different weaknesses. Play to your strengths and take it one day at a time. The season's going to be long. It's going to be harsh on your body, but just keep going. Keep the wheels turning.
I like being at the retirement press conferences for Zach and Tyler, just to hear some of the words of what they said and what, as you're going to year two, did you try and take anything from what they said?
I mean, it's amazing. I feel like I almost got emotional watching Tyron Smith because, that's a guy that I look up to. And, I want to follow in his footsteps and being a great Dallas Cowboys left tackle. So, hearing his legacy stretch across a decade is just extremely a blessing. And I want to fit that mold. So I learned a lot from him, actually. I watch a lot of his tape, and I listen to the things that he says in his pressers and how he carries himself, how he takes care of his body.
What did you learn from him, from watching him? What do you try and emulate?
His strength is a big part of his game, so getting stronger is going to help you do anything on the football field. So that's the main thing.
When you changed your diet, did you feel when you started working out again, I have more energy? Am I stronger? What was that instant feeling once you saw changes in diet?
I mean, all types of things like you just named. I did feel better. I felt like I had more energy. I felt like my joints feel a lot better. Just eating the right things and putting a good feeling in my body has definitely helped me shape and become a better player.
Tyler, when Tyron was here, Dak and other people talk about the trust they had at left tackle. Boom. He's 77 years, you trust him. How far do you think you are away from being able to be that kind of player where they can just trust 60?
I don't know, honestly. It's not my trust, it's their trust. So, wherever I am in their heart, that's where I'm at. But I'm working to become the most dependable player that I can be.
You talked about how you looked at the Zach Martin. Did you take a moment maybe this offseason reflect about the day-to-day stuff, like what he showed that you can maybe learn from him?
Oh, yeah. Taking care of your body, like I said, is the biggest thing I've took from him. He played a long time, and he played super physical. That requires a level of commitment to your body that is untapped, by regular players. So you gotta uplift whatever you're trying to do to take care of your body and, uphold his standard.
Is there a day-to-day thing maybe in terms of taking care of your body that you've changed or like
Yeah.
Identified, I got to start doing this? Or
Yeah, after I study my tape right now, my nightly routines, I go an hour stretching in my garage. I have some mats laid down. I've made a workout room, and I've been stretching every night for at least an hour, any way that I can.
you got a fan in that garage, or does it get hot in there?
Hot as hell.
Tyler, speaking of switching positions, how have you seen Brian Schottenheimer go from offensive coordinator to head coach, and what's the difference been like?
Oh, he's doing amazing, bro. It really does feel like a whole new team. The things that we do, the competitions that we have. Like, we played basketball this morning in our team meeting, and I have the high score right now. I'm letting everybody know. But just the way he's doing things, it's fresh, it's new. He's a really good head coach, and I'm absolutely so grateful that he's our leader.
You kind of mentioned this earlier that last year training camp you're kind of in and out with dealing with different things, but here you've been here every day. Have you seen just being here consistently and getting those reps pay off already in terms of what you're learning?
Yeah, definitely. And this is a special team, and the guys that I'm going against every play are making me better. So, it's in my best interest to be here every single day and go as hard as I can so that when the game time is here, I can be the same player.
We talked about Connor Riley, obviously, but just talk about the benefit of, as an offensive lineman, having the benefit of both Connor Riley and Clayton Adams, your offensive coordinator.
Don't forget Chan.
And Chan. And
Yeah,
all having just that background of coaching O-line at a high level.
I mean, it's a nice three-piece. Those are three, really connected and good dudes down to the core. And, we are a very, very personal room, and we flow together good. Everybody loves each other. We trust each other. And having that 1-2-3 punch for guys, maybe a coach can only look at a certain side on a certain play. We have guys looking at every single part on every play, and they can give you live feedback immediately. So that's a big plus, in the O-line room.
All right. Thank you, John.
Appreciate y'all.